I'm the first Viking who wouldn't kill a dragon.
First to ride one, though.
Well, then tell me, going into this, I mean, I loved it so much. What is it like for you? I mean, some longtime fans have seen the movie and their reactions have been very positive. What does that feel like for you?
A relief, for sure, because I knew that people were going to be very protective of the movies that they loved, and they didn't want to see them messed with. And so there was a danger of just disappointing people with like yet another soulless remake. And from the very beginning, I said, if you're really thinking about doing this, please let me do it, because I share that sentiment. You know, I'm not a fan of live action remakes of animated movies in general, because I feel like they're usually disappointing versions of those movies that I love. Mm-hmm. And so this allowed me to put my convictions to the test. Can we keep everything about the story that people have come to love and bring embellishments in terms of the deeper mythology, richer character interactions, more immersive action?
Yeah, no, I was curious about that, because it is like, there's probably this big internal battle of like, do I do a one-to-one? Do I change things that could upset people? Like, how did you kind of grapple with those decisions?
Well, it was made easy for me in the sense that Universal said, we want that story.
Yeah.
We don't want a story inspired by How to Train Your Dragon or something that might be more faithful to Cressida Cowell's books, for example. They said, that's the story we want, but can we use the opportunity of retelling it in live action to bring more richness in places where it could benefit from? So, you know, characters that felt underserved in the animated movie because of the time constraints, we now had the ability to go in and sort of broaden and deepen, like Astrid, for example. But also just explaining why they're there in the first place, and kind of developing a mythology that supports the story in a deeper and richer way.
Yeah, I thought it was wonderful, and also I was like, Toothless is so adorable and amazing in the animated, like how can they possibly? Perfect. Oh. What was that process like? Like, were there any hiccups? I didn't even mean to do that along the way.
Yeah, I think we all knew that we didn't want to deliver anything less than the animated movie in terms of the dragon performances, and specifically Toothless. So we designed him to be probably the closest one-to-one, because he is such an iconic character that we knew that if we went away from his design, we would probably hear about it. But then we also had the benefit of having a puppeteer on set working with the actors, and so we had foam heads built to the specifications of our dragons, and they could be scene partners with all of our human actors, and that gave us a rich performance that the animators could then take and bring all of their skill to in order to give us fully dimensional dragon performances.
What scene were you most excited and or intimidated to recreate?
I was most excited about recreating the Hiccup's graduation day in the arena in front of all of those Vikings, and Stoic is proud of his son, and Hiccup's in the tunnel listening to all the mockery and the ridicule, and it plays into all of the relationships. You have the father-son relationship, you have Hiccup and Astrid's relationship, which is turned, and now she's willing to support him no matter the cost to her own ambitions. And then Toothless coming in to save Hiccup, which is just so heartbreaking, because it's heroic on Toothless's part, but it ends badly for him. I thought that was a great opportunity to have a moment that fans might be familiar with from the animated movie, but just sort of a richer experience overall, because everything's sort of dialed up in intensity.
Watch out! Hiccup!